truth. And when you're telling the truth, you really are doing something that few people at the end of the day. There's a whole lot of ease. You just have to pick up your paper and look at the Tories of Westminster, as I call Westminster. Week in, week out, and they say, you keep calling Westminster, Westminster. I said, because it's a monster. It's part of the great red dragon. The devil's a monster. He's got the great red dragon. You say, who greats the devil? I says, who greats the devil? And the bloke says, well, he says, if you stun into his eyeball, it would do the bear like stunning on a planet. Maybe, it may be a bit more happiness. As when you see that pictures of yollies, there's a yolly over there. A heron yolly. You know, they just grew it and took the heron, and they weren't bothered about quotas. And there was no Spaniards stealing the heron under flags of convenience at that time. Things are a lot simpler. Yeah, I know. Now, they held up a yolly, and often their backs were bleeding, held up at yollies. And the women get down with the keels, and they petted the fish, and just put them in heapies, the crew, and then they take a flat stein. I can't even mind the name of the stein, it slips in mind, but there's a name for it. And they spat in one side, and flung to the air, and it was a lot of that way, but a more common way a lot in the fish was in them turn the backs, and then they would say, "Fire your vest," fight that, that's Johnny's. "Fire your vest," that's Jimmy's. And so the fish was fairly to the guys that were out the ripper. And been the same all right from the Smallins and gone further back. The fish was then tin up, Maggie Doe's. Maggie Doe would buy the fish for 2 or 3 pennies or shillings. She would wash him and scrub him with a big scrubber and a tub. It was in front of our door in my time. That's about my 1930s I'm thinking about, because I was born in 1937. And I mind finding her tub standing outside, and she had a society she put the water into her scrubbing. Although one of our nephews minds that she washed him inside the McFleary there, which is quite possible, because I did wear McFleary. Excuse me, because my throat's got a flu. But with the McFleary, boys used to go up collect some sewing for her, and the sewing was dry. That's shingle for the shore, which was just across the road there, and that was sprayed, and the all shingle was swept up and flung out the front of the door, the back of the house in front, and it was sprayed with shingle. And that shingle, if you look at Maggie Doe's Fleary, it hardened almost like cement. It's not as soft as you think, it's not muddy. And she'd wash the fish. Now, she'd smoke them in a rickenhoosie, or sat them and dried them on the rack, she'd in a drying rack, like my granny made a lump at Heen, along the shore. It was just kind of great steins together, and you put the fish down there. And it's a reflection of the sun, and the fish steins kind of magnify the light, I suppose. And to dry fish properly, it needs light, as well as heat. June and July is a storage night, that's the right time to dry fish. They dry a lot better. They turn kind of brown. The proteins in the fish are turned brown, just much the same as the melanin turns your skin brown in your sunburn. And that changes the protein into a very concentrated form. And so in the winter you had this dried fish which you boiled and eat it like that with tartars. So you shredded it up and mixed it with tartars with hairy woolly. And hairy woolly is steak's chuck, as somebody used to say. Well, it wasn't because the steak was chuck, they couldn't afford steak, but it had hairy woolly. But I found they cut it hair and lime. They had a dash here, the fishermen, you see, and because it resembled the horsehair and the lime that they used to put into the buildings, and they had strong buildings they would be. I've seen it, tried to knock down them buildings, they couldn't budge them even with mechanicals, and that hair and lime. So the dish it's not just stuck with this corner, it's not just confined to this corner hairy walleye. But Maggie Doe had dried the fish and teed them in. Now, sat is hygroscopic, you see. The sat keeps the bimbies off. The bimbies, you know, like the head for the fish, and the sat, they didn't lay the eggs on that kind of fish. A lot of fleas about, they didn't infect the sat fish. But sat's hygroscopic, which means that it takes moisture from the atmosphere, and soon your dried fish will be dry and they get mouldy. But she has been in her bin is a slatted roof, stick roof, and she put a dried fish wrapped, if she could manage to get newspapers, up on top of slats. So the heat for the peat fire, there was no fireplace, it's just a peat, it's a hole, and a sway is a sway. A crane is a carrot for hanging the pot on top. And the peat fire, the heat fire get up through the slats and kept everything dry, and the lines were up there too, Maggie Doe's. There were hooks were hanging down, but she wouldn't change one thing, Maggie Doe. And a bit in Betty, and the doors went. That's how the furniture in the Maggie Doe's really, the building was 12 bit in Betty's, one separated the butt, and a closet in between, and in the bin, and that was really the partitions. The bit in Betty was the partitions. You looked up at the roof, a tiled roof, the bare tiles, and as a whole, I've been her Betty, and I went to find out what this hall was, and all fishermen he came right away, Sarah Jam, because he was brought up in a house, he'll cart echt in him. He asked for a spile tree. Now a spile tree was a stick and a bit of oar. Stuck in this hole of being a Betty and hung a line on it and dressed a line. That's at the side of the bed. Now if you look at this hoosies, I seen has it. It's a head gable in the sunny side as a steam stick suit, and that's for hanging the lines to dry. And in this picture here, somebody hanging a line on such a steam. He's hanging a line there. The man does all who's he. As guys here, instead of hanging a line. As guys are carrying a heron net that's been barked there. The barking heron net's there. Father used to bark his nets here, Stevens. And we used to put tatters, a boykie there, put a tatter to roast it in the fire, the barking pan fire. We put a tatter in and roasted and eaten. This was all part of the fun of barking, you see. It was a lot of fun and we were doing here wading with bare feet all days and with bare feet. And I know they're all watching TV. They're being cretinised with TV in the Bairns. That cartoons and that is just slaughtering their brains. We who were out there in the fresh air, we used to mark chippies, fight, fight we call that, fighting sticks and marking chippies, marking sailies, shooting them together and selling them. And you took a bear in a day, and best give him a stick and a knife, and he can't fight. He can't use his hands. He can't make paper chippies or paper aeroplanes, nothing. He's the stick here and get a right fight at it with a knife. Your father's all knives. Used to be nest knives. Now the German knives. Can't even make a knife. The German Lowen Moser knives. And this knife when I sharpened it, not really bite sharpened. But that's him carrying in a hand barrel. They put a net into the barking pan in the bark, cut a cue bark, Kutch, I think they call it, but the bird is Catechu, C-A-T-E-C-H-U. They use it for diarrhea actually, it's astringent. And he's carrying it down here to hang up in the tows. I says, ancient drying grounds along the shore here, all that green grass that you see out there is got ancient drying grounds and has been preserved as such, and long may they be preserved, because the folk who are entitled to access to the site. They needed access because the women had to carry the fish up and creels up through the lanes, direct to the house. You couldn't do anybody in the tar to go out on a boat, left on a boat and back just to go on doing the line for a housey to the shorey. Yawls rather on up there, thicker yawls, 200 I would say, between the head of it to Belger Harbour, West Haven. They blasted out, they buried the Belger Harbour to create another shorey out of the Skate Lake. You can see that now, tell you. That shoreys are hooked out with chills behind a lot of them and blasted. Then they entirely that was a cutting shore. And that was a stable for the horses that carry the quintry wapies, fresh wapies to the quintry. They come back with honey and butter and fake honey, butter and scrambled cheese, quintry cheese, eggs, and a flying of milk sometimes. But milk was only a penny for a pint. Here's a boy with a guard. He's going with a guard in a quick. And here's a water wally, it used to be there. Taking water. There's Maggie Doe scribbling away in a fish out there. There's a wife who got creel. And the man who had a ripper boxy now. You know, I don't usually. With a boxy to keep the rippers dry and the flies dry. And later in a flask of tea. And then they always carried a steam stout of water. Because they believed that you should have water, because if you're bluffing about to say the first thing you need is a drink of water. Nowadays you couldn't leave any of things in your halls and be vandalised. And here's how hanging out clays. So that's Serkis. Serkisina with a jolly wife, Serkisina. A grand woman, Serkisina. Now mine coming up ducking lobsters. We had click, I was there about ducking lobsters in my young days and spotted it out. They met Serkisina and she says, I've just met a man. And he said to me, his religion you see was strong in the village. And this guy been a brethren. And he says, you can fit the Cairnbulg Belger says. Benina says, well, no, what does it say? The Cairnbulg Belger says, come to the church, ding dong. Oh, that's interesting, says Dina. And he says, he came for the Baptist bell, says. Oh no, what does it say? What a baptism, what a baptism, what a baptism, what a baptism, bang, ding dong, what. Oh, that's interesting too, you know, that's half a well believe the bells do say that. And it came fit the Salvation Army bell, says, he said. No, if it didn't, it was really a bell. Oh, he says, oh well, he says, it's just saying. Yes, beat the drum, beat the drum, beat the drum, blow the trumpet, beat the drum. So, Ina says, if it is a brethren bell, say Jan. He's a brethren. He says, oh, we have got bells. Oh, aye, she says, you have bells. He says, all right. He says, what do you think the brethren bell says? She says, the brethren bell says, where I are acting nobody's wrong. Where I are acting nobody's wrong. That was Ina's wit. She was another witty wife.
Aye.
Aye. That was very good. I thought, I'd never forgotten that.
And what did she bite?
Bid in it, was she, yeah? Serkis a shoppy in there. The widows at the shoppies. There was a shoppy in the butt. Staying at Timble doing John's under that, and she let it go to to ruin really. It's rather a pity. And Belger Belger is a historian. She used to have a sat house. Kept the sat for the sat fish and the sat herring, because they cured herring here too, you see. And that's what Granny's drinking was. I used to sit in the back of that for the girls. When for the death to come up for Yarmouth, so get a Yarmouth present, such as it was. Some years of guys bar, and they made money. You would see that in a year, but sometimes you get a pair of fed bar boots, you see, and I've only been a fed bar. The Yarmouth. Then you got rock and apples and wine grapes, got them. Belger Belger in the mid was there. I like the news of Belger Bella. She they said that she had fascist leanings, but I think she was just one of the great first original Scottish nationalists. That was her angle, really. But she was a Scottish nationalist before Scottish nationalism came on the scene here. She didn't like the idea of our ruled by England. That was her. And her idea of preserving Maggie Dawes Hussey was obvious, because the castles, they spend millions and millions upon millions upon preserving castles here, there and everywhere, but never spend on the working class, how they lived, which is east and west. The castle is, they had carpets and everything 100 years ago, and Maggie Dawes them up for you. And there's nothing spent in that. When I campaigned for Maggie Dawes, I started in the hill where Duthie was trying to get it preserved, trying to get it, the council to take it over and preserve it. There was a petition for 400 to knock it down. Fell at the back who wanted to knock it down, and I campaigned in the hill and wrote up all this stuff that I've just dealt here about Maggie Dawes. And Lady Salton came to see me a couple of times, and she entered the list, and it persuaded Gilbert to get on the preservation side, and so it was preserved. And it was the power of the press. It was one of my causes. It was a working Hussey. And if it's ever opened up, it's taken an hour time to open up. Sometimes when the vandals will get to the fore, it's opened up, but it's the power of the press, the Brock Herald. It really saved that Hussey. Just letting the folk in. I had letters for quite a lot of folk at the time. But a good thing it would be to preserve a fisher Hussey, the only its kind left. And I suppose it was as much a principle to me to preserve it. Not have much feeling for history or anything like that, but the principle is the working class, how they lived in the poverty which is unknown now. And I sometimes think if there ever came an H-bomb war and there was a rocket on the way here, it'd be a bad idea to go out that Hussey, humble Hussey, and just sit in and just think, well, in these times they hadn't got over kind of terrors, nuclear nights and that. The life was much more simple and much more friendly with one another. The one that closed off, the village was open plan. You met folk walking about rather than motor cars. You can't speak to them in a motor car. The bellies may have been team, the brakes patched, but they had an enthusiasm for certain things like religion, like the walks. It is nae about nowadays at all. And a bit our language has changed now, you see. I didn't speak all that bride. Nothing like as bright as my mother. on the Bairns a day just kind of even speak Scotch in Doric the day. They spend a fortune in Gaelic, and I've tried to get on that speaking out programme on the BBC 10 o'clock about this business. The heavy programmes should they spend this money in the Gaelic, and I had an Aberdeen wife in the BBC boss the works and says, we haven't got 10 seconds in our language here on fit everybody watches. It's the media. If you're not on TV, you're not real nowadays, you see the mess up. If you're not on TV, you've forgotten about you didn't exist. Scotland is kept off of TV. Before the election, Scottish Affairs come on at 11 o'clock at night.